Well, it's official. I'm officially more excited for Money in the Bank than the Extreme Rules pay-per-view that's happening this Sunday. Let's talk about SmackDown. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal, Pass Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with the May 30th edition of the SmackDown Live review. And like I say, this felt more like a go-home show to Money in the Bank than Raw did for Extreme Rules. I will get the dirty laundry out of the way first. You guys know the May edition of Ask the Phoenix went up last week, up there in that little exclamation point up there. You want to be in the next one. July will be here before you know it. Check out that video. Leave your questions or comments in the comment section below. Also, even though it's going to suck, we are doing a preview for Extreme Rules. Myself, Kristen, hopefully Guapo if we get him and he's awake and such and such. You guys know, the last pay-per-view we started doing the pay-per-view pick-em. It's a little bit of a point system game so that we can play on the night, on Twitter, etc. If you want to be a part of it, you got to make all 6 predictions. If you want to be a part of it, you got to listen to how the game is played when we do the preview. But stay tuned for the preview this week. Listen to myself, Kristen, and possibly Guapo. We're going to be playing as we do the review. You guys throw your predictions and your ranking in the comment section below and join us on Sunday night for the actual pay-per-view. Now, as I said, this is just for fun. This is just for a little bit of camaraderie on Twitter while we're sitting through the shitty Raw pay-per-view. There isn't a prize, there isn't a rank, there isn't a, anything like that. It's just for fun. We had a lot of fun last time. Myself, Kristen, Guapo, Mizark10 joined us there on the Twitter. Guapo was the first winner of the pay-per-view pick'em, so hopefully he'll actually be on the preview this time around. But that is coming towards the end of this week. As I say, put your questions in the Q&A for July. It'll be here before you know it. Already running out of breath because it's stupid o'clock in the morning, but let's talk about SmackDown. SmackDown starts with a cold open, which is a little weird. They did this a lot at the beginning of SmackDown Live. When they first did the brand split last year, they did a lot of pre-packaged video at the beginning of the show to hype up the rest of the show. This was actually kind of cool. Pre-taped comments from all 5 of the women that were going to take place in the #1 contender women's match, which we'll talk about later on, because it pretty much happened the way I said it would last week. But anyways, it was cool. It was different than having an authority figure come out and start the show. Shane, well, it wouldn't be Daniel Bryan right now because he just had his kid with Brie Bella. Congratulations to them. Shane McMahon was here. We'll talk about him later on as well. We start with the Kevin Owens show highlight reel gimmick that he's doing. Now, this is lame. It's cool because he was gloating about destroying Chris Jericho a couple weeks ago. Now, it's just, he's hanging his hat on the fact that he destroyed Chris Jericho, who's not there, so it's not getting him any heat, and it takes focus away from what he's doing right now. It takes focus away from whoever he's going to be in the ring with that night. It takes focus away from what he's promoting going forward to this Sunday. I don't like it, I'm not going to lie. He comes out, he's still bragging about beating Jericho. He talks about how Jericho created Money in the Bank, but he never actually won. You got Kevin Owens in the ring talking about Jericho, and people start chanting AJ Styles for reasons. I think they were in AJ Styles' hometown. I could be wrong on that one, but loud, vigorous AJ Styles chants. Sorry, itchy nose. Don't pay attention. I'm going to win Money in the Bank. I'm going to become SmackDown's double champion. I'm going to be the face of America. I'm going to be the face of WWE. And he calls out Nakamura, and crowd does their usual singing thing. Whoever is putting Nakamura's entrance together, who thought that they needed concussion pyro in the middle of his gimmick there. They do a concussion pyro when they go from the strobe light to the Titantron, which isn't necessary. They do another concussion pyro when he gets to the ring and he does that sort of hang off the ropes deal. And now, for anybody out there that doesn't know what I mean by a concussion pyro, do you remember Ryback when he did the hand gimmick thing there, and he did the wake up and you heard the big pop, but it wasn't any actual pyro. Like, you didn't see any pyro shooting off in the air. It's just a sound. Somebody asked me actually on Twitter while I was watching tonight when I said, why does Nakamura need concussion pyro? And they're like, what the hell are you talking about? So, as I understand it, if there's a pop, there's no actual visual pyro, it's called a concussion, which makes sense, I suppose. tells Nakamura, he says, I don't care that you're a rock star, I don't care about all your dancing and funky bullshit, and he says, you know, people want to know who you really are, they want to know what your future is in the WWE, but remember what happened to the last rock star in the WWE. I destroyed him, I broke his neck, I kicked him out of the company along with his stupid scarf. So he's still leaning on the Jericho thing, not the superstar that's right in front of him, which is a bit of a bummer. If you insist on being the WWE's next rock star, then Money in the Bank will be the day your music dies, which is nice, I suppose. Corbin comes out and says, Shinsuke Nakamura, nobody cares about you. Let's have some highlights from an actual star. And he shows the beatdown that he put on Sami Zayn last week, which is nice. Owen says, you know, that's not a big deal. I've been beating up Sami Zayn for 15 years, and you're not welcome here on my show. Corbin goes on and says that Kevin Owens wants him to respect his authority and makes a whole bunch of Cartman jokes, which a lot of people were ripping that on Twitter, you know, about it being dated and about, you know, the last time somebody did that, it was the New Age Outlaws. But you know what? It worked back then, and it's not dated because friggin', what's it called? What the fuck's the name of the show? South Park is still on now, as far as I know, but whatever. It is what it is. In 3 weeks, I become Mr. Money in the Bank. I didn't mind. He called Kevin Owens Eric Cartman, following up on, because somebody else did it last week. I think it was AJ Styles or Sami Zayn or somebody did it last week, and nobody was ripping it last week, so hypocrites in the YWC, you don't say. Nakamura says, you guys have short memories. Jericho's not the last rock star you fought. In fact, I pinned you last week. Corbin, you didn't show the last 2 times that Sami Zayn beat you. They're doing the right thing with Nakamura with his promos. Short, sweet, and to the point. It's good. There's a 2-on-1 beatdown by Corbin and Owens on Sami Zayn. Or sorry, on Nakamura. Sami Zayn makes the obvious save. Corbin and Owens bail. Corbin says, like, off mic, but the camera picks it up. He's yelling at Sami Zayn, and he says, "You're looking for another ambulance ride," which is brilliant. Sami Zayn gets back in the ring, you know, littlest guy in the fight, you know, challenges them to a tag team match. That's what we have. That is the first match of the night. The spirit of Teddy Long lives on SmackDown Live, as my buddy OK Fabe would say. So we have Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sami Zayn versus, Shinsuke Nakamura and Sami Zayn versus Baron Corbin and Kevin Owens. Corbin and Nakamura start. I think with Nakamura being the more enigmatic, more new, sort of like the new toy that SmackDown is playing with, I figured they would leave him off and have him have the hot tag at the end, but he started off the match with Corbin, which is just fine. Collar and elbow tie-up, and Corbin works the arm immediately. Key lock by Nakamura, kitchen sink, and a series of kicks. Good vibrations in the core. I don't like good vibrations. It wouldn't work on anybody other than Nakamura, because he's got the sort of zany, enigmatic style that he has. Owens and Zayn trade punches for a while. Head scissor by Zayn and stomps by Owens, stomps by Owens and followed up by a mudhole stomp by Corbin. A mounted 10 punch by Zayn, a cheap shot by Owens, and some more stomps by Corbin. Zayn eats the turnbuckle, front slam by Corbin, knee lift by Corbin, who tosses Zayn out of the ring. Blue Thunder Bomb by Zayn when he gets back in the ring, a cheap shot on Nakamura by Corbin in the meantime. Spinebuster by Corbin, kicks and knees by Nakamura, corner knee lift by Nakamura and Enziguri. Sami Zayn manages to throw Kevin Owens into Baron Corbin, which is enough, which is enough to make the heels argue. After the argument, Kevin Owens basically turns around into a Kinshasa. Nakamura and Sami Zayn get the feel-good win to start the show. The Usos then come out. They come out, and I've said before, I can't really properly put into words an Usos promo because you just can't, and I'm not going to because I make a fool out of myself. They come out, they mock the crowd, they brag about still being the champions, they mock Breezango, they mock American Alpha, and they mock the Atlanta Falcons, which is nice. They're interrupted by the New Day. And it's fucking great. New Day is cheesy as fuck. It hasn't changed. But you know what? We haven't seen them in a long time. We haven't seen them since the announcement that they were drafted to SmackDown. It's only been vignettes, etc. And the vignettes have been a little bit creepy, if I'm quite honest. But they come out, they celebrate being back, they get the cheap pop from the Atlanta crowd, and then they banter back and forth. As much as I say I can't repeat an Usos promo these days with the heel gimmick that they're doing, you know we can't really say word for word a New Day promo either, but New Day goes into some of their typical shtick. Usos are on the outside, sort of like giving them the what the fuck look. Usos do fire back with a bunch of comments. The one that I like, the one that I actually wrote down, you guys are friggin' crazy, and we're gonna take care of you, unicorns, old Yeller style, which actually gets the New Day's attention, which is great. But the bottom line of all of this banter is that New Day know who really runs the show on SmackDown. They've already talked to Shane McMahon, and at Money in the Bank, out of nowhere, like an RKO, these guys get a tag team title shot. I would complain, but I don't care. They broke the record on Raw, so why not bring them in as this high commodity onto SmackDown in the draft and give them what they wanted. You could play up some sort of storyline where the way Shane McMahon enticed them to come to SmackDown was with a number one contendership, but I don't even think they're going to do that. But anyways, that's what we have going forward. We have New Day versus the Usos. It's going to be great. Not the last time I'm going to talk about the New Day this evening, to be quite honest with you. They replay the entire Jinder Mahal Punjabi celebration from last week. Now, those of you that know the area that I live in, just outside of Toronto, know there's a lot of different cultures in the city that I live in. I have no problem with all the cultural shit, all the heritage shit, all the typical gimmicky, stereotypy stuff that they're doing. I have no problem with it. I just don't see the point of playing the entire thing again. And then they play a lot of B-roll from a lot of different Indian media outlets. I get it. They're trying to expand into India. They're trying to get people to buy the WWE network in India. But here's the funny thing. Apparently they gave Jinder Mahal the WWE Championship because they're trying to expand into India and they're trying to get people to buy the WWE network in India. Now, here's the thing. From what I've heard, and I could be wrong, and most of this I've heard from other YouTubers, honestly, there's two reasons why they're really not going to buy the WWE network in India. First of all, if they buy the WWE network, they're going to have access to pay-per-views, obviously, but the pay-per-views are on at about 4 a.m. their time because of the time difference. And B, if they wait till the regular evening time their time, there's some other channel in India that carries the pay-per-views for free. So why are you going to pay whatever the Indian equivalent of $9.99 American is to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, watch a pay-per-view when you can watch it at your leisure for free? I really don't get it. And if that's the only reason that Jinder Mahal got a championship reign, then he's going to lose it pretty quickly. And he's going to lose it to Randy Orton in Randy Orton's hometown at Money in the Bank. But that's another story for another day. It was kind of cool, I will admit, to see all the different news outlets around the world and just the look of it. We're so used to the WWE produced way and what it looks like and what it comes across like and what it feels like and what it sounds like. It is cool when they show clips from other outlets, stuff that's not actually WWE produced. Back when they first started up with the network and they did the Beast in the East special show, whatever, in Japan that came on at like 6 in the morning our time, it had that feel too because they had a different production crew and everything was done through that crew, and it's just so it's very cool to see something outside of the WWE mold, even if it's just from a video editing template perspective. The Fashion Files are back. They changed it up a little bit. They give it the feel of sort of an old black and white detective movie. They've still got Tyler Breeze in drag, which I could do without, and I'm really wondering what the Fashion Files clips and gimmicks are going to lead to now that they seem to be basically out of the Tag Team Championship chase. But, they find their office has been all messed up, and the one clue that they found on the floor was a bottle of cologne. Yeah, that's the bad pun they went with. Oh, yes. And then we have the Fatal 5-Way. Tell me this isn't mocking Raw, because it really, really is. The Fatal 5-Way to crown the new number one contender for the Women's Championship on SmackDown never happens, because the match never starts. What we do get is a messy brawl, a suplex by Natty and 10 punches, a Samoan drop by Tamina, Carmella and Becky brawling immediately to the outside, Charlotte spearing Tamina into the apron and then taking her face first into a post, Charlotte hitting a snap suplex on the floor to Natty, Charlotte hits a moonsault from the top turnbuckle to the outside on Natty and Tamina on the floor, Carmella hits a crossbody off the guardrail, decent enough for her. I mean, I know we don't expect much from Carmella, but it was decent. Becky hits an exploder suplex on the floor, Natty eats the steps on the outside. Charlotte power bombs Natty through a table, and it's all wonderful, and everybody comes out looking like roadkill. Shane McMahon comes out to the ring, makes the announcement that we've all been waiting for, and it's the first ever WWE Women's Title Money in the Bank ladder match. Charlotte versus Becky versus Carmella versus Natty versus Tamina, which means that Naomi's lazy ass ain't on the show, which means automatically Money in the Bank just got a bit better. Unless Naomi's going to have an exhibition match against Lana, in which case I feel sorry for Lana. Because reasons. You don't want your debut to include having to sell the no actual contact dance kicks or the chocolate flaming camel toe of death. Oh yes, Breezango takes on the Colognes, because remember they found the cologne on the floor. It's not funny, but anyways. Breezango versus the Colognes was kind of quick, kind of painless. Drop kick by Breeze, double back elbow and an elbow drop by Breezango. Fandango tosses one of the Colognes out onto the floor, onto the other Cologne. Backdrop by Fandango, clothesline. A top rope sunset flip powerbomb by Fandango is really cool. In the process of them doing all this goofy shit, Fandango is showing some pretty decent shit in the ring. The sunset flip powerbomb almost pin in this match. I know he's been using the Falcon Arrow a lot, which is nice. Elbows by Breeze, Inseguri, and an unprettier for Breezango getting the win. They have to find something else for these guys to do if they're not chasing the title. They need to do something else. They're way too charismatic to put back on the back burner. I would love what's it called? Bragging rights. WWE, bring back the bragging rights pay-per-view. I don't care how cheesy it sounds. Breezango versus the Hardys. I'm in. I'm there. Good. Orton comes out to respond to Jinder Mahal's Punjabi celebration from last week. And it's nothing. This segment is nothing. Blah, blah, blah. Here's all the people I've beaten in my career. Blah, blah, blah. Here's all the other wrestlers that I'm related to. Blah, blah, blah. Hoorah, America. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to be the 14-time champion. Jinder Mahal shows up on the Titantron. Blah, blah, blah. Bashes the Orton family. Blah, blah, blah. Bashes Orton's achievements. Blah, blah, blah. Bashes America. And I want to eat a gun. Just a little bit. AJ Styles versus Dolph Ziggler resurrects the show because that's the main event. What I love about this and what I found really, really interesting is they're really pushing in this Money in the Bank match that the only one with any experience winning and cashing in the Money in the Bank is Dolph Ziggler. So they showed a video package of Dolph Ziggler's success with the Money in the Bank briefcase, winning it and becoming the champion or whatever. What I find, it makes perfect sense that they would throw that in there, getting into the pay-per-view and whatnot, showing, you know, this guy's logically is the favorite to win, even though he's not going to win. But what makes me laugh about all this is Dolph Ziggler's Money in the Bank success means they showed video of him beating Alberto Del Rio, who's not exactly WWE's favorite person right now, but he also, at the time that he cashed in that Money in the Bank briefcase, you see him running down to the ring to make his cash in, and who's by his side? Biggie Langston and AJ Lee. That made me smile a whole lot. The only way you could have made that any better would have been if Hulk Hogan and Paige were involved somehow. That made me smile. This match was short and not quite what I expected from it, but it was decent enough to cap off a very, very, very good and decent and productive SmackDown, in my opinion. Ziggler works the leg and it works it into a... My writing sucks, and I'm tired. I'm sorry, guys. Ziggler works the leg, which transitions into a chain wrestling sequence by both guys. Dropkick by Styles. Styles eats the post, ribs first. He kind of gets thrown in like midsection first. It's very, very awkward, and he sells it very, very well. Headlock by Ziggler, back suplex by Styles. They trade punches, and there's a corner splash by Styles. Corner splash is followed by those corner forearms that he does. Styles hits him with the wheelbarrow face-first slam that he's been using recently, which I really like. Ushi-Goroshi and a suplex in the corner. Ziggler hits that jumping DDT that he does from the second rope, which, you know, tent spike, the whole metaphorical tent spike thing is definitely apropos here. Styles counters the zigzag into a backbreaker and a move that looks like a legit mistake that could have broken Ziggler's back. Made me smile. Running knee by Ziggler, which is also sort of... Running knee by Ziggler is kind of funny because it resembles the Kinshasa on an AJ Styles who came out kind of dressed like Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm not going to lie, with the red and the red jacket and all that. Very interesting to see two guys in all red that are supposed to be baby faces on SmackDown. Snake Eyes by Styles, Calf Crusher by Styles, Ziggler rakes the eyes to get out of the Calf Crusher, Hangman by Ziggler, Zigzag by Ziggler, Super Kick by Ziggler, and a little bit of trickery with the ropes gets the win for Dolph Ziggler. They are trying really hard to push the fact that Dolph Ziggler is the favorite in the Money in the Bank ladder match, even though we all know he's not going to win. Basically, anybody else can win this match but Dolph Ziggler. Really, really good Raw. Made me excited for the women's division. Made me excited for the tag team division. We got New Day back. Them on the mic with the Usos was pretty damn good. The only thing they're really not pushing right now is the United States Championship, but I'll give them a pass on that, seeing as how the United States Champion is in the world title scenario right now as far as that Money in the Bank match goes. Everything else got pushed forward. Very, very good show. And as I will say many more times, I'm sure, and as I have said many, many times in the past, Raw could take lessons from SmackDown. Oh, yes. Anyways, this has been my SmackDown review for May 30th. Like I said, go up there. Check out the Q&A if you haven't. Toss your questions down in the bottom if you haven't, if you want to be involved in July. Join us for the preview for Extreme Rules later this week. Join in the pay-per-view pick'em if you choose to. But until then, I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I'm tagging out. Bye, guys.